Hey everybody, welcome back. The Tokyo Summer Olympics are about to begin, and it'll be karate's introduction as an official Olympic sport. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to give you a preview of the qualifying process, break down some of the divisions, and see how they may be a little bit different than regular WKF divisions, and then go over a few of the key athletes in both a couple of Kumite divisions as well as male and female kata. Both the karate and the judo competitions will be held at the Nippon Budokan in downtown Tokyo, close to the Imperial Palace. And the Nippon Budokan is the martial arts hall, is what's called, is frequently used for events these days. But it was originally built for the 1964 Tokyo Olympics, and that's where the judo competition was held. Before I get into specific athletes or divisions and the breakdown of some of these, I want to go over a short introduction or overview of the process on how these athletes qualified for the Olympics. Starting in July of 2018, continuing through May of 2021, again accounting for the year of non-competition due to COVID-19, there were 26 events that athletes could attend in order to earn Olympic qualifying points, beginning in Berlin 2018 and then finishing at the European Senior Championships in 2021, just a short time ago. Series A, Premier League, World Championships, all the Continental Championships, and all of these events, the athletes were able to accrue points, similar to the Premier League ranking points. And the reason they were accruing these points was because the first four places, or the four highest athletes with points based on the total of their points, got an automatic qualifier into the games. And then, even though, for example, Japan was automatically given a spot, one position in each division, Japan used a series of the points as well to determine who their representative athlete was going to be. So even though they were already given a position, a large number of the Japanese athletes continued to travel to all of these events. And I don't have the months listed here, but these events were predominant or almost every month. And so you see here how this was a significant commitment, and some of the top athletes, again, vying for those four spots, automatic qualifying positions, were going to these and traveling almost on a monthly basis. So after the four positions and the fifth, including Japan's berth or Japan's position, then the remaining athletes were able to go to the Paris qualifying event that happened in June. And then there were a couple of remaining positions that were awarded for continental representation, and the International Olympic Committee or the Refugee Committee were also awarded 2 positions, I believe it was. As the host nation, Japan was allocated 1 athlete position per division. Representing Japan in men's kata is Kiyuna Ryo. In minus 67 is Sago Naoto. Minus 75, Nishimura Ken. Plus 75, Araga Ryutaro. In female kata, Shimizu Kyo. In minus 55, Miyahara Miho. In minus 61, Somiya Mayumi. And in plus 61 by Uekusa Ayumi. And as I mentioned earlier, Japan used the Olympic qualifying point system as some of its criteria in determining who its Olympic representatives will be. And so even though only these 8 will be the ones attending or competing in the games, a large number of the Japanese athletes were traveling all over the world, just like athletes from every other country, in hopes of securing their spot in the Olympics. But it was these 8 who had the highest ranking in the points, and so that's why Japan chose them. In an effort to minimize the impact on the games, and since it was karate's introduction as an Olympic sport, the WKF made the decision to minimize that impact by combining Kumite divisions. The regular WKF weight divisions consisted of 5 divisions. For men, it was minus 60, minus 67, minus 75, minus 84, and plus 84 kilograms. And the result was several of those got combined into minus 67, minus 75, and plus 75. And for female Kumite, it was minus 55, minus 61, and plus 61, down from the regular minus 50, minus 55, minus 61, minus 68, and plus 68. And so by capping this, and then male and female kata, and then by each division was capped at 10 athletes per division. And so this is what led to that rather convoluted point system, to where it necessitated 2 years to kind of give it a level playing field, 2 years of qualifying points to be able to pick, or to have the best athletes, if you will, be able to be the ones that competed in the games based on the limited number of athlete positions available. As I start getting into talking about specific divisions and some athletes, I have some of their highlights, their current accomplishments, world championships, medalists, European championships, Asian championships, games, etc. But I've only listed the highlights out here. What I haven't listed is all of the Premier League medals or Series A medals and things like that they had earned along the way. And so all of these athletes that were shown here, that qualified here, are multiple time medalists in any number of the events that I listed earlier as they were qualifying. And so there's too many divisions to name to go through each and every athlete, but I wanted to highlight a couple of Kumite divisions and some of the kata divisions as some of the highlights of what I think would be some key athletes to watch. And again, there's numerous divisions. There's too many to list everybody out. There's 80 plus competitors going to be competing, but I just want to list some of the highlights. And so starting with male Kumite, minus 75 kilograms. This is kind of the who's who of some of the big names in karate these days. We have 5 times WKF world champion Rafael Agaev, also 11-time European Championships gold medalist and a European Games gold medalist and silver medalist. We have Stanislav Horuna from the Ukraine, who's the 2014 WKF World Championships bronze medalist. He's the current European champion and multiple European silver and bronze medalist. Also in minus 75 is Ken Nishimura, who's the 2018 WKF bronze medalist, the 2019 Asian Championships gold medalist, and he was also a Junior World Championships silver medalist. And one thing to point out with Ken Nishimura is that his father, Seiji Nishimura, was also a world champion in Kumite, I believe, in 1984, and had been a coach, I believe, on the Japanese national team for a while. And lastly, in this division, I wanted to just touch on Tom Scott, who is the 2-time Pan American Games champion and a 5-time Pan American gold medalist and the 15-time USA champion. And Tom was, I believe, number 5th or 6th in the ranking and had just missed it by points, and then was able to qualify based on a doping issue with one of the other athletes. And so this minus 75 division is just some of the powerhouses. This is just a few. There's all the rest of the athletes in this division are also very strong athletes. But here I just wanted to highlight, because you've got Horuna and Agaev, who you may not know was also an athlete in the karate combat, like kickboxing, karate, full contact, karate league. And there's anticipation or word that he may go back to that, or rumors maybe that he may go back to that after the Olympics is done and he retires from WKF competition. The female Kumite division that I'd like to highlight is the minus 55 kilograms, and that's the lightest division. And the reason I like this is just how fast, again, being smaller and lighter and whatnot, some of these girls are amazing. And the speed, the movement, their movement is so dynamic, and that's one of the things I really like. And so I wanted to highlight just 3 of the athletes here today. And the first one being Wen Su-yun from Chinese Taipei. She's a two-time WKF bronze medalist, a 3-time Asian Championships gold medalist, 2-time Asian Games gold medalist, Asian Championship silver medalist, and then multiple-time Team Kumite silver and bronze medalist. And from the Ukraine, we have Angelika Terliga, who is the 2018 European champion, the 2019 European Games silver medalist, and then multiple European silver bronze medalist and 2-time Team Kumite gold medalist. And one of her signature moves is the Uramawashi Geri, and she is just loves to kick other girls in the face. So, that's going to be entertaining to watch. And then lastly, we have Miho Miyahara from Japan, who's the current WKF world champion, silver medalist at the WKF World Championships 2016, Asian Championships gold medalist and silver medalist, and an Asian Games bronze medalist. And so, these girls have some great skill and some great technique, and I think that this will be one of the exciting divisions to watch. And then I only want to just touch on 2 other athletes here, again, both from the Japanese national team. Uekusa Ayumi, who's in the plus 61 division. She's the current silver medalist and 2016 world champion, 3-time bronze medalist, AKF gold medalist, silver medalist, Asian Games gold medalist, Asian Games bronze medalist. And then in plus 75, Ryutaro Agaraga, and he's the 2016 world champion, 2-time WKF silver medalist, 3-time Asian Championships gold medalist, 2019 Asian Championship silver medalist, and 2-time Asian Games gold medalist. And interestingly enough, he comes from a karate family. Also, his sister is a former Kumite world champion. So these are just a couple more athletes that have the potential to do very well and to medal. And I think you should really pay attention to what they do. Before I start discussing any specific kata athletes, I want to talk about just the format of the kata competition for a moment. And this will be slightly different than normal WKF competition. There'll be the 10 athletes will be broken up into 2 pools, and then they will do 2 rounds back to back. And then those scores will be averaged together for a total score that will determine the top 3 places in each pool. Then those top 3 athletes in the second pool, for to be the 3rd round, will compete again, and then the highest scoring athletes in each pool will go for the final, the gold medal match, and then the 4 remaining athletes will compete against each other for the bronze medal matches. And so it's based on the regular WKF competition, but slightly modified by doing the 1st and 2nd round and then combining an average score to determine the 3rd round score. So for the kata, they will only be doing 4 kata unless there is the necessity for a tiebreaker round. As we get into the kata, I'm going to start with female kata here, and I'm going to just start off by talking about Sandra Sanchez from Spain. Sandra is the current WKF world champion. She beat Shimizu Kiyou in the 2018 Spain World Championships, and she's also the 2016 WKF World Championship, bronze medalist. She's a 6-time European champion and a 2 times European Games gold medalist. And so during this Olympic qualifying period from 2018, and actually it started even before that for them, Sandra and Kiyou Shimizu have been the primary I guess, rivals, if you will, a female kata. And Shimizu Kyo, the Japanese athlete, is a two-time WKF World Champion, 2016 and 2014, and then silver medalist in 2018. She's two-time Asian Games gold medalist, three-time Asian Championships, and a seven-time All-Japan champion. And like I said, her and Sandra have been going back and forth the entire time that this Olympic qualifying period has been going on. And in fact, Japan was very early to identify her. I think her and Ryo were the two that were identified as their Olympic athletes from the very beginning, or from the earliest that they could possibly name athletes. They had identified them. But one thing to note with Shimizu is that in December's All Japan Championships, she got second place and was beat by Ono Hikaru, who has been a long time Japanese national team member, and actually is a junior world champion also. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out at the Olympics between Sandra and Shimizu. Next up, I want to talk about Grace Lau from Hong Kong. And she's the bronze medalist from 2018 Asian Games, 2018 bronze medalist, and a two-time Asian Championship silver medalist. And Grace is one of these athletes that has really come on strong during this Olympic qualifying period over the last several years. And one thing that I'd like to highlight is that in one of these Premier League events, she beat all three of the top Japanese national athletes, the Japanese athletes who were competing to make it to the finals, I believe against Sandra. She beat Shimizu, Ono, and Iwamoto, and then was in the finals against Sandra. And then she also got silver at the last Premier League in Lisbon earlier this year. And so she is definitely one to watch for and has a very good chance of medaling in Tokyo. Next up, we have Sakura Kokumai from the United States, 8-time U.S. champion, 6-time Pan American champion, 2019 Pan Am Games gold medalist, and the 2012 WKF World Championships bronze medalist. And Sakura is another one who has a very high probability of medaling in Tokyo. She competed in university in Japan, traveling back and forth between the United States and Japan, and she's come on really strong the last several tournaments. Rounding out female kata, we have Viviana Bottaro from Italy. She's a two-time WKF World Championships bronze medalist, 2014 European champion, 2019 European Games silver medalist. She has 5 times medalist in WKF for team kata, and the 2-time European team kata champion. And she's followed one of the typical patterns of starting in team kata and then being chosen to represent her country in individual kata. And she has been right there, a medal contender throughout this qualifying period in bronze medal and silver medal matches pretty much the entire time. And so she is expected to give a strong showing also. Moving on to men's kata, we're going to just start off with Ryo, who, despite being a 3-time WKF world champion and 2-time WKF team kata champion, Asian Games gold medalist, 4-time Asian champion, one of the things to highlight here is that he has won the All Japan Championships for 9 years in a row. And that is almost a bigger feat than becoming World Championships. When you think about the level of competition in Japan domestically, it is unrivaled anywhere else. Just the way that they have to go through, and the tournaments, the qualifying tournaments, to even be able to compete in the All Japan Championships. And the 9-time All Japan champion is a record. And when you look at his WKF record since 2013, I believe it is, where he was a bronze medalist at the World Championship. Since then, there is only one medal that is not a gold medal, and that was, I believe, Dubai in 2018, to where Damian Quintero won. But Kiyuna was quickly identified by Japan to be their male kata representative, and I'm expecting that he will be the gold medalist in Tokyo. Similar to the way that Sandra and Shimizu have been rivals and battling back and forth, Damian Quintero, also of Spain, has been that foil against Kiyuna in the men's kata side. You know, Quintero is a two-time WKF silver medalist, 2014 Team Kata champion, 6-time European champion, and 2-time European Games gold medalist. And again, similar to Shimizu and Sandra going back and forth, it's been Damian Quintero and Kiyuna Ryo the entire qualifying period. And so I anticipate that you'll be able to see an amazing performance from Damian Quintero. Okay, no discussion about men's kata in the Olympics is going to be complete without talking about Antonio Diaz for a minute. Diaz is a 2-time WKF world champion, a 6-time WKF World Championships medalist, outside of the gold, bronze, and silver, 2 times Pan American Games gold medalist, and a 16 times Pan American champion. And I believe he has the record for the most WKF World Championships medals. And in fact, Antonio Diaz has been competing so long that I competed against him in Team Kata back in 1999 at the Pan American Championships in Havana, Cuba, where Venezuela got second, Peru got first, Venezuela got second, and the U.S. got bronze. So he was actually going to retire back, I believe, around 2015, when it was announced that karate would be in the Olympics, and he has continued competing and doing well enough and placing enough and getting enough points that he was one of the automatic qualifiers on points to qualify for Tokyo. So there is no counting Antonio Diaz out, and I'm looking forward to see what he brings to the Olympics. All right, next up we're going to talk about Ali Sofuoglu from Turkey. And Ali was one of the automatic qualifiers on points. He got a bronze medal at the WKF World Championships, 2021 European champion. So just a couple months ago, he was in the finals against Damian Quintero and won with a very, very solid kata. And so, he's also one of the competitors that has an extremely good likelihood of medaling in Tokyo. All right, the last male kata athlete I'm going to talk about is Ariel Torres from the United States. And Ariel is a 2-time USA champion, a 2019 Pan American Championships gold medalist, where he defeated Antonio Diaz in a stunning upset at the PKF. And then 2019 Pan American Games silver medalist just a short time later, to where, again, flip-flopping with Antonio Diaz. And then a 2018 Pan American Championships bronze medalist. And I want to point out that Ariel qualified not on points, but at the Olympic qualifying tournament in Paris in June, to where he gave a commanding performance, and he won every round. He had the top score in every round and every match that he had. They went through the rounds like normal, and then he had the round robin, and he had the highest score of every time that he went out there. And what's interesting to note is that Ariel did not start competing in Premier League until that very first qualifying event in 2018. I believe it was Berlin 2018. And from there, he quickly rose through the ranks to where even before the qualifying tournament, he was in 10th place, right after all the other Japanese and Turkish athletes. And so I expect that there may be an upset in Tokyo, and Ariel has a very good chance of medaling. Okay, so we went through the qualifying process, breakdown of some of the key athletes, some of the divisions, and who you can look for when you're watching. And so now I'm going to give you my prediction. And for the Kumite, it's not going to be very easy. I think some of the athletes that I highlighted all have a very good chance of medaling. You know, it just all depends on how they are that day, whether they're switched on, whether they can overcome their opponent. You know, that's just, who knows what will happen there. But for kata, I'm going to go out and say that for male kata, Ryo is going to win gold, and with a high probability of Damian Quintero being in the finals with him for silver. Though I will say, like I talked about a few minutes ago, you know, Damian lost to Ali from Turkey in the finals of the European Championships just a short time ago. So there's a high possibility that, you know, Damian might be fighting for bronze. But some of the other possible contenders, like I said, Ali, Ariel from the United States has come on strong, you know, and it's a tough field, and they're all really strong competitors. For female kata, I'm going to go with Sandra Sanchez of Spain. Is going to get gold, followed by Kiyou Shimizu in silver. Though, again, you know, like I said, Shimizu lost the All Japan Championship, so who knows what will happen there. But I think that she will be in the finals with Sandra. And then for bronze, female bronze, I'm going to go with probably Grace and Sakura from the United States. Grace from Hong Kong and Sakura from the United States. So that's just kind of my predictions. We'll see. Maybe I'll be right. And, you know, and I hope you got something out of this preview, and I hope it'll help you. And I hope you support karate in its Olympic debut. So now go get to work, and we'll see you out there.